Ever wondered why The Witcher 3 feels like a big screen movie, but Baldur's Gate 3 gives you the power to write your own story? And there's games like GTA, where you get the freedom and you can do anything you want. So, hello there, my name is Kushal, and today I'll be slicing through RPGs, horror games, and how genres defines narrative. So let's talk about RPG. And when it comes to RPG, I'm going to talk about The Witcher 3. Now, in this game, we step into the shoes of Geralt of Rivia. And obviously, he's the Witcher and he kills monsters for money. And that's the basic plot point of the game. The best part of The Witcher 3 is that it's based on a novel written by Andrzej Sapkowski, so it has a huge lore behind it. So the world is already set. Now, what the developers did is in this game, they gave us the narrative choices. Every choice counts. The deep, complex world gives you that kind of depth and consequences. Now, that makes The Witcher 3 so great because when you are doing something, there's a reason behind it. You're not just doing it for fun, you're doing it for a cause. And with cause comes effect. Now let's go to the Baldur's Gate 3. Now in Baldur's Gate 3, you are creating your character right from the beginning. The whole lore, the whole definition of the character is coming from you. Obviously it would because it comes from the tabletop role-playing board game that is Dungeons and Dragons. That's what it is based on. And Baldur's Gate 3 does exactly that. You are creating a character and with different classes like wizard or a paladin or a knight and whatever it is, and you are going through the world and making your own journey. So every time you play the game, it's the same game but different context, and that's the beauty of it. Now, when you think about it, The Witcher 3 and Baldur's Gate 3, now both of these games comes under the same genre, but yet they are different. In The Witcher 3, whereas the narrative is choice driven, the world is already set. The character, the protagonist is the Witcher, that is Geralt of Rivia. Even if you are playing it, you are playing Geralt of Rivia. Of course, the choices might differ a little bit, but the game is same. But in Baldur's Gate 3, the game is actually totally different because you are might be making a character that is totally different to mine. So it is more vast and it is more complex than The Witcher 3. And that's how I think genre works with narrative, because if you are going through a world that is already set in, the evolution comes with a different pace than Baldur's Gate 3. Now let's talk about something different. Let's forget about RPG. Now let's shift the direction to something different. That comes to horror. Now when we talk about horror games, two of the most recent games that comes to my mind is Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Now they are both come under the same horror genre, but they are very different. Where in Resident Evil you are facing zombies, although there are variation of it, but it's basically zombies. So what they do is you are going through a main mission or you're going through a plot point. They will give you a gun with low ammos. So in that gameplay, you have to search for ammos, you have to search for supplies, and that makes game the more tense and more difficult. At the same time, it gives you the feeling of horror, the fear that you are scared of. That maybe there's right in the corner there might be a zombie, and you do not have any kind of ammos to kill it. Now, when it comes to Silent Hill, this horror comes from within, from guilt, from confusion, from the sadness the protagonist is going through is psychological. The horror is not something outside, it is inside. So the narrative changes through that. Although the genre is same, you can see the narrative is going through a different pace because the main protagonist in Resident Evil is facing something outside, but in Silent Hill, the protagonist is facing something inside. So before I go to the open world section, I'm going to talk about indie games. Now, indie games is one of my favorite genre actually because in those games, because the studio has less budget than the other AAA games or AA games, they make small games from budget perspective, but they make that game special through creativity and gameplay. Now their passion comes from within because they know that they have less resources, but they know how to utilize it. And there's where efficiency comes in. Recently I played games like Valheim or No Man's Sky, and there's a game called Hades, which I absolutely love. And those games are huge or famous because of the replayability, the unique exploration from survival to the buildings in game, the beauty of it. Like No Man's Sky is one of the most beautiful game ever existed, and with the recent update that came that a few days ago, makes it even more special actually. And I think No Man's Sky has one of the most epic comeback ever in gaming history. So obviously, like, this genre is very special to me because this is where passion starts. They will become something great later on, but this is where they start, through passion and creativity. And although behind it there's no something complex narrative behind it, but the genre is still solid and it's still lovely actually, and especially I love it. So that's it. Now I'm gonna talk about the big gun here. Now let's talk about the behemoth of open world game, and that is GTA. So when you talk about GTA, it is special because of its freedom, absolutely. Although Rockstar writes phenomenal characters, even in the Red Dead universe, and in GTA there's Michael and Trevor from GTA 5. GTA 4 is a beautifully narrative game, but GTA is absolutely special because of the world that we live in, the freedom we get into that world. One time you are flying a helicopter, and the second you are blowing up cars with an RPG, and that's phenomenal because in that game you are not just playing it, you are living through it. Your choices of course matters in the open world sandbox perspective rather than the complex narrative based that comes from The Witcher. GTA gives you that kind of choice in the gameplay perspective. You are blowing up cars, you are killing people, you are going through a heist, stealing from a bank or something, and that is phenomenal. So that's where a genre comes in. Although it's same, but there is no RPG element to it yet. I don't know about GTA 6, but the open world kind of gives you that illusion of role playing because you are the one who's controlling the main protagonist in that game, and that is actually huge. Now let's talk about why I'm making this video at the first place. And this is fun because I love books, I love novels, and genre is very important to me. But that's why I wanted to talk about it, that how genre drives narrative forward. Even though you are playing a game in same genre, sometimes it feels different, and that is beautiful about games. In cinema or in books, you don't have that choice. When you are playing a movie, or you are watching a movie, or you are reading a book, the storyline is set, the narrative is set. You are just consuming the data, right? You are just consuming the idea, consuming the structure behind it, what the author wanted to say. But in games, when you are controlling a character, whether it's linear, like Uncharted, or whether it's driven, like narrative driven, but with choice-based narrative driven, like The Witcher 3, or like vast open world but complex structure right from the beginning, like Baldur's Gate 3, or open world like GTA, you controlling the character kind of gave it more meaning, it gave it more structure and more weight. And that's where genre is kind of changing the narrative behind it. If you're reading a book of Geralt of Rivia, like from Andrzej Sapkowski, and you are playing the Witcher game at the same time, you will feel a different way, because in that book you are seeing what Geralt making that choice, why Geralt is making that choice. But in the game, you are making that choice on behalf of Geralt. And that is why I love video games so much. I love RPG is my favorite genre, but I love every kind of game. And smash that like button, comment down below what is your favorite genre. I definitely want to know. Mine is RPG, so I want to know which kind of virtual world you want to live in and want to experience. And subscribe, it will be lovely and a huge support. So thank you. I'll be seeing you next time in the next virtual world. Stay tuned.